In this lesson, I'm just going to show you some simple ways to make some design motifs using the selection tools here in Adobe Photoshop. First of all, we're going to make a new file and create a new file, and it's going to be 8 by 10 inches. And our resolution is always at 300 dpi. Our color mode we're going to keep at RGB color, and our background contents will be white. We can give our file a name if we want, or we can give it a name when we save it. And I'm just going to say OK to that. Next thing I'm going to do is to view my rulers, and where I find those is under my View menu up at the top on the View menu button. Going down to View Rulers, and you see that I have my rulers here in inches. If my rulers are not showing up in inches and I do want them in inches, I can go under the Photoshop Preferences menu, and I can go to where it says Units and Rulers, and I can change that if I wanted to be in centimeters or millimeters, however I want to work. I prefer to work in inches, and I prefer to keep my type in points. But that's where you can change any of your preferences under the Photoshop menu for preferences. With my rulers here visible, I can click in the center of them and drag over to create a vertical guide. I'm going to put one vertical guide at the 1 inch mark, and I'm going to click inside of that ruler one more time and drag another one over to my 4 inch mark. Same way as I did the vertical guides here, I can also do horizontal guides by dragging down from the top. So inside the ruler, again, I'm going to click inside that ruler and drag that one down to the 1 inch mark, and I'm going to click in there again and drag another one down to the 4 inch mark. Now I have this box masked out here, and I have my guide selected. I can use my rectangular marquee, select my rectangular marquee, and I'm going to click and drag inside of that box, and now I know I made a rectangle or a square here using those guides. If I wanted to fill that in with color, I can go to Edit, Fill, and I can fill that in with my foreground color, which happens to be black. And I can say OK, and I get a solid black box. So this way I could use that as a background for a design motif, or I could actually use it as part of my motif, motifs itself. I'm going to undo this for right now because I want to show you another thing here. You can actually do a stroke rather than a fill around any kind of selection. So under my Edit menu once again, I'm going to go down to where it says Stroke, and I'm going to make my stroke, say, 20 pixels. Just so you can see it. I have the option here to put the stroke outside the box, on the center of the box, or inside of these dotted lines, and I'm going to choose outside. On my mode here, I'm going to choose normal, and I want this to be 100% opacity because I want it to be a solid black. Now if I click on this color button, you could make your boxes any color you wish. However, I'm going to be using this for my black and white motifs, so I want it to be solid black. And by the way, the RGB number, or the code for complete black, solid black, is always 000 in any CAD system and here in Photoshop. I'm going to say OK to that, and OK again, and you can see that I have a nice black box around my selection. Now, I have, with that selection tool again, and that marquee selected again, you see that I have other options here on my menu bar. I have options to add to a selection, subtract from a selection, or intersect with a selection. Let's say if I wanted to add to this selection, I could create some additional boxes here and create a different shape. Now if I wanted to fill this entire box in, Edit, Fill, I'll fill that in with the black. Say OK, and I have a whole selection here now that's filled in with the black. So with the rectangular marquee, you can make complete squares, but if you hold down the Shift key, it'll constrain the selection so that it is a perfect square. And if I let up on that Shift key, you can see if I hold down the Shift key, it's going to be a square. If I let up on that Shift key, it's going to be a rectangle. Okay, so by holding down that Shift key, you can make either perfect squares or perfect rectangles. Again, I'm going to edit, fill, and I'm going to fill that in with my foreground color once again, and I have another little black motif. Okay.